Down the back straight now, they're flying. 1, 2, 3, locked into battle for glory. Coming off the final turn, it's anyone's race, and it's a drag race to the line. Oh, it's going to be tight. Yes, what a finish!
There's like tons of unfinished business.
The atmosphere is so fun there.
The physical side and the mental side.
The Sunday Shakeout, the podcast for all things high school and collegiate distance running. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Shakeout. I'm your host, as always, Nicholas, and today on the show was Aydon Stefanopoulos, a graduated senior out of Los Gatos High School in California. He is going to be a rising freshman running for UCLA in the fall. Being real though, my conversation with Aydon today was probably one of the most unfiltered, unpolished, raw, candid conversations that I've had on the show, and not in an unprofessional way, but the thing I notice about a lot of the guests on my show is that they have this amazing talent arc from middle school to high school, and they're able to slowly develop their talent as the years go and have this walk-off win to end off their high school career. But Aydon is very self-aware, and his junior year, he won state cross-country, he qualified for NXN, and that really set the bar high for him going into his senior year. But being honest, and even himself, he said it, he did not live up to his own expectations. He didn't win state. He didn't qualify for NXN. He didn't even have the redemption that he wanted this past track season, despite setting PRs across multiple distances. And, I try to nudge him in the right direction and say, hey, look at your PRs, look at how you've improved them. But Aydon really glossed over that. He really focused and went straight to the disappointment, the heartbreak, the regrets, the emotional fallout. And I think that that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I think it shows maturity and humility. And I think that in and of itself is really instructive, because setbacks not only form you as a better runner and as a better athlete, but as a better person. And you have a more fortified mental battleground, mental mindset. And I think that, this wasn't a super positive conversation. There wasn't a lot of positive poly, sunshine and rainbows. Well, let's look on the bright side. Like, this was real, cutthroat dialogue about what it's like to really deal with disappointment and heartbreak. And I think if you're in a state of heartbreak and turmoil in your own life, whether that be running or personally, there's a lot to learn and relate to in my conversation with Aydon today. And I think that he's very mature. And when he's talking about UCLA this fall, he's not really talking about proving anything to himself or anybody else, but really about growing and learning and becoming more adaptable. And so there's just so much to learn from Aydon. And yeah, hope you enjoy my conversation with him today. One final note before we get into my conversation with Aydon today, and oh my gosh, this light, just looking at it, like the glare. I'm sorry if you're watching, sorry about the light. But, speaking of watching, I'm on a mission this summer to deliver the best running podcast in the game, video podcast that is. And so if you're in support of that mission and you want to see that, if you want to see the sport of running be elevated to another level, then all I ask of you is that you leave a follow and a 5-star review to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think we're on YouTube now, so that means like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, whatever it is, because that goes a long way in supporting the growth of the Sunday Shakeout and this podcast and my mission to elevate the conversations of our sport to the next level. So if you like that and you want to see more of that, 5-star review, follow, like, subscribe, whatever you have to do. Other than that, though, sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with the one and only Mr. Aydon Stefanopoulos. Welcome to the Sunday Shakeout. First off, we're talking off the air. I'm curious, what's your favorite part of Greece so far on your trip?
Favorite part of Greece so far? It's got to be the food and the culture here. It's really, really, really fun.
What's the running there like? I know you couldn't get in your running this morning, but what's the overall running vibe there?
It's like so bad. It's like 80 degrees all the time. It's like weird rolling hills everywhere. It's honestly just like the worst place I can imagine to run. Like, at least in Mexico, you kind of have like a little like resort to run in usually, and you gotta stay within those boundaries. But like here, it's literally like little alleyways left and right, and I don't even know if it's possible to run in this. It's so bad.
Yeah, I went to Paris in the spring. It's dude, the cobblestone is crazy there. And like everybody looks at me like I'm crazy when I'm running. I don't know. Can you relate? Like, do people even run there in Greece?
No, I've seen like people I do see running are running at like 6 a.m. and I'm really not trying to do that. So I ended up running at like 10 when it's like 87 and it's like people looking at me like I'm insane. I sweat so much too. It's like I gotta like wipe my eyes every 2 seconds. It's really bad.
Dang. Where does Greece rank in like your top 10 places you've been?
Oh, top 10. I don't even know if I've been to 10 countries, honestly. But I'm a little biased because I'm here for 3 weeks, which obviously gives me a lot of stuff to experience. But
Dang. Family?
no, just here for 3 weeks. Um, I do have family here though. I don't know. I'm thinking too deep about this. We'll do 6. No, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
Great. Okay.
Mm.
Cool. Yeah. I need to pull up to Greece. That'd be pretty fun. I've been to Paris and Germany, so need to expand
Paris
a little
and
bit.
Germany. Seems fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good places. Europe's super fun.
Yeah, I love Europe. And for you, kind of transitioning, reflecting on this past year, you've had a pretty good senior year. You've not only set PRs across multiple events, you've competed at some of the biggest stages in high school running. So how does it feel to kind of look back at everything you've accomplished and done this year?
It's a little melancholy not getting another year to perform and try my hardest. But I've done this year. I've PR'd in I think almost all my events. I helped my team, did some good races, made some friends, had fun. That's really all you can ask for. I mean, it's a sport. It's supposed to be fun. That's why I originally started running tracks. Can't complain. Excited to be going to UCLA next year.
Was that a mindset shift you made, kind of making fun and enjoyment the priority? Especially because I know you've been dealing with injuries throughout your career. How have you kind of had to reframe different, aspects of the sport so that you're not only focused on performance, but like also the enjoyment piece, which you mentioned?
If you get too caught up in the performance aspect of the sport, which it's very, very easy to, or people often find themselves like slipping into this like, oh, like an NPR. It's a very tough mindset. And I think if you run happy and you enjoy it, that's how you will be the fittest. You're going to be consistent that way. You enjoy it. You can't be good at something you don't enjoy, you don't love. So that's my take on it, honestly.
Was there a moment when you realized that for yourself?
Honestly, probably just senior year. Senior year, I don't want to say I let loose a little bit because I didn't. I just realized like, hey, it's my last year here. Like, obviously, I want to make an impact, but above all, I want to enjoy the sport and buckle up for the next 4 years. I was really just trying to stay uninjured for my next 4-year career at UCLA.
Yeah, I know you had a I know you had an interesting cross country season. You ran pretty well overall, but junior year, I'm sure like the expectations were pretty high after that. You won state, I believe. You qualified for NXN and all
Yeah.
that. So, to not be able to go back to NXN, how do you assess everything that happened?
How do I assess my senior year cross country? Sorry. Honestly, senior year cross country, I'm really disappointed in it. I didn't train nearly to the extent that I wanted to. I really don't think it put my all into the season. There's a lot of things I wish I did and a lot of things I wish I didn't do. Um, so looking back on it, there's a lot of regrets and I just have to use that in college, honestly. I mean, you only live once. You only get so many experiences within this sport and in life. I wanna cherish and value each of these. And this cross country season just didn't have many moments, for me to cherish. So it's I wasn't proud of it. I mean, I've won state before, and this year, I came like 4th. I raced it terribly. I don't even know where to start. It's honestly just a terrible cross country season.
Dang. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never
That's
really.
just a negative way of putting it, but yeah.
Yeah. So in your head, when you have these bad performances, like in order to move forward as an athlete, you kind of have to put it behind you. So how do you compartmentalize those negative thoughts? Because I mean, those thoughts are real, and those are like the thoughts that we all think in our head. Sometimes we don't ever speak them out loud because that cross country isn't the end of things. You still have the track season. So knowing that you had that disappointment in cross, how did you put that behind you?
Honestly, I don't think there's a point in trying to suppress it per se. I really think that from those negative experiences, those lessons that I need to learn from each and every one of those, and those are some of the most important lessons I'll get. A lot of the times when I lose, I take each and every one of those as the greatest lesson I can get. I mean, if you lost, you didn't. There's ways to improve. There's things you didn't do right. You may not have raced it right. You might not have trained right. You can learn from everything, and I think losses are honestly just as valuable as the wins themselves. I think Woodbridge, my junior year, I wanted to quit afterwards.
No way.
Like I wanted to quit running afterwards just because I was so disappointed in myself. This year I ran 14 flat, which I'll take it. I'm happy with it. I would have liked to go under 14 and been with some of the better guys, but yeah, there was no one race. It's kind of a cumulative thing, honestly.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sorry to go on a little rant there about Woodbridge, but yeah.
So let's go into Woodbridge your junior year, because that was interesting. You had a great season your junior year overall, I would say. Obviously, you probably didn't place very well at NXN like you wanted, but you won state that year. How did you bounce back from wanting to quit, then all of a sudden, winning state and doing all these amazing things?
Honestly, I honestly just had to look at it analytically. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but I looked at what I was doing in training and how I lived my life and imagined what, someone better than me would be doing, someone good. And I realized that I was doing nothing. I mean, my training was abysmal. Lifestyle was not at all what it should have been to be, a good runner. There's a reason for every loss, and I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay. Interesting.
Sorry.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I understand that. It's rough. The sport of running is rough, and we want to talk all about positivity and how you can put one bad race behind you. But I mean, the struggle is hard to understand, and I think it's really cool you're sharing that.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things I've really had to deal with within my running career, especially with injuries. It's like, yes, there's winning races, there's positivity, but a lot of the times people don't talk about those negative thoughts that are going through your head. I don't know. Sorry, I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad.
No, you're good. Yeah, I read a stat like that, like 90% of our thoughts are negative, and it's just crazy how unbalanced we can become despite all the advice we have. But I know that for you it's been you had a couple injuries throughout your high school career. And mentally, how do you adjust to the fact, and how do you accept that you can't train harder like a lot of the other guys high school scene?
I honestly, I think I kind of like divert it and think about it positively. Like, hey, like I'm good doing this like little amount of training that I am doing. When I'm able to, train more, I will be much, much better than I am now. So I just see it as room to improve, honestly.
What do you do in terms of mileage and cross training, and how do you stay healthy for the most part?
I don't do too much cross training. I swim. I used to swim over the summer, but I stopped doing that the past 2 years. Bike here and there with my buddy Carson Headland. You might know him. Mileage wise, I'm usually on 40 to 45 miles a week. 2 workouts, sometimes a long run or a race, and one of the two every Saturday, then Sunday off. So I keep training light, which I think helps my body recover. I was saying that if you undertrain for long enough, you'll be good. Just stacking up the days, people who train too hard peak too early and they end up getting injured, and that is exactly how I got injured. Tried doing way more than I was capable of, and sure, I was fit for a little bit, but I got injured pretty quick. So I just have a saying that train within your means, and you'll be good.
Was that what happened? I know as a sophomore you ran like 8:57 and you ran all these crazy times. Junior year track, I know that wasn't the best for you. Were you motivated in some sense after junior cross country to have a huge, comeback after NXN and the disappointment there? Or talk about junior track a little bit.
Junior track, essentially what happened was I was super anemic. I don't know if that was caused by training or dietary stuff, but my iron level was, I think, a 3. So I was super, super low. I don't know when the anemia started, but I obviously ran great junior year cross country, ended up winning state, going to NXN. Then sometime between then and Nike indoor, my iron levels just shot down. Like I was able to run 4:20 at my absolute fastest. That's what I ran at Nike Indoor Nationals, a 4:20. Not saying that's a bad time, but for me, just what I had been running, it is not on par with what I, obviously wanted to run. So looking back on that, I probably should have seen something was wrong, given that my training had been going decently, but then my races just weren't coming out to what they are or what I wanted them to be. So yeah, the whole season, the whole junior track season was honestly just me reminiscing about how I ran in cross country and wanting to live up to that. So I'd overtrain and, to try to compensate for that iron stuff. I didn't know about the iron thing, by the way. I just thought I was slow and not training hard enough. So I would overtrain, which then led to injuries, which I'm still dealing with today. So yeah, don't overtrain. Get your stuff tested, I guess. So we got my iron levels tested and I think my calcium levels tested for like bone density stuff because I was dealing with like almost a stress fracture near my knee. I forget what it was called, but
Near
a few
knee?
things were going
Dang.
on. Yeah. That was what was happening. I had this little like I don't know if you have this, but like under your kneecap, I have a bump. I have like this just hard bump that after runs would just get so like swollen and hard to touch and every I don't we got I think it was an MRI and basically what it was the precursor to a stress fracture. So if I kept trying to run through that, I would have fractured something in my knee, which would not have been good.
I'm trying to picture like what that even would look like if you had like a fracture in your knee. Like I dislocated my knee in February,
Oh,
which is
geez.
awful. It's
Yeah.
terrible. But I'm trying to picture like, would your patella shatter? Like, do you know what would happen?
I don't know, dude. I have no idea what would go on with the tendon because it's where the patella tendon connects. I'm glad you knew that. Yeah, I have no idea what would happen. I don't even want to think about that.
I can relate to you in all the setbacks that you've had. And, when you have constant, just trial after tribulation and all this stuff, like, must be tough mentally. And I could see why after junior Woodbridge, you were like, dang, I just want to pack it up and put the fries in the bag, So how do you, like, was senior track season, was that a bit of redemption for you then after all you've been through?
It was honestly more disappointment than anything. Like, I had this thought of like, oh, training my butt off, every day, locking in. But then I was I was torn between the thought of that and also just enjoying the sport and having fun. And in the end, I wanted to have fun. So I was kind of just disappointed in myself looking back on it. Obviously, the times I ran are pretty good. I just a lot of the races where I wanted to place, well, I didn't. Arcadia was a letdown for me. State was a letdown for me. Sorry, this is so negative. I'm so sorry. Jeez.
Do you walk away with races in the negative emotion? How do you kind of channel that? Because I know there's a bit of like, positivity and all that, but do you see negative races as motivation, or in the moment, is it just straight disappointment?
In the moment, it's obviously straight disappointment, but I'll go home. I'll kind of reflect upon what I did wrong, and I'll use it as a learning lesson every single time. I mean, if you just sit there and sulk about a loss, which I'm sure we've all done, you don't gain anything from it. All you can do is learn from it and improve.
So going into UCLA next year, I know you're going to be, one of the athletes there. I mean, that's a pretty big program, like a lot of huge stuff. UCLA in California. How are you going to kind of bring that mindset into what you're doing over there? And yeah, just how optimistic are you about your future? Because it doesn't seem like you're very optimistic right now.
I might sound like that, but I in the end everything works out. I'm not rushing anything, and there are highs and lows to life, or even just the sport. I've learned a lot in high school, and I am so excited to be able to use that in the NCAA. I want to work my butt off freshman year. I honestly I don't even know where to start. I mean, I really do trust Ferris as a coach. He's head coach for distance and whatnot. He's an amazing coach, and they got a great group of athletes going on there. I can totally see myself, succeeding at that in that environment. So super optimistic. I can't wait.
Interesting. Yeah. I bet that transition's pretty cool. What's the big motivator for you? Is it the PRs? Is it the team culture? Is it the leadership? Like, what are you looking for your freshman year, you think?
I think I strive for improvement. Whether that be running, diet, always trying to find some way to improve in, my life, daily life. But yeah, honestly, I just want to improve, get fitter, and overall enjoy the NCAA.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think this would be a good place to close off our conversation, Aydon. And I have one final question for you. And this is a question that I ask all my guests, but if there was one piece of advice you'd have to give yourself when you were just getting started in the sport, what would it be?
Be consistent. If someone asked me how to be good, I would say be consistent. For sure. Like it's not the workout you do one day. It's the workouts that you compile over the course of years. And without consistency, you just cannot be good. So definitely be consistent.
Love it. Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Aydon, for our conversation today. Interesting to hear your mindset. I think it's refreshing to hear also that sometimes that it's not all positive poly and everything's so happy. If you make a mistake, you can take the lessons from it. Like there's the dark side. Cool to hear that dark side regardless. And enjoy your time in Greece. Really fun stuff. But thanks so much for our conversation.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for having me on.